Hi there, welcome to Jamaica Magazine. So glad to have you on another informative half-hour journey. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. On the pages today, we explore matters important to your health and well-being, plus so much more. Please sit back and relax. It all unfolds after this important message.
Preventing heart attacks and strokes starts with simple routine steps in our daily lives. Stay active. Aim for at least 30 minutes of exercise each day. Eat a balanced diet with more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and avoid foods high in salts, sugar, and fats. Maintain a healthy weight and avoid smoking. Manage your stress, cholesterol, and blood pressure, and get regular checkups with your doctor.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Monday, June 30, 2025. The Ministry of Agriculture has allocated $100 million in emergency support to help farmers manage worsening drought conditions across the island. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green made the announcement in a recent press release, revealing that $10 million of the funds has already been used for urgent water trucking in Manchester, St. Elizabeth, St. Anne, Trelawney and Clarendon. As part of the broader response, 1,300 small irrigation kits will be distributed to affected farming communities over the next 3 weeks. Additionally, the National Irrigation Commission (NIC) is implementing measures such as adjusting irrigation schedules, redirecting water flows, and offering technical assistance to reduce soil moisture loss. According to the Standardized Precipitation Index (SPI), St. James is currently classified as severely dry, with worsening conditions also observed in St. Elizabeth, Manchester and Clarendon. Meanwhile, the forecast for June to August predicts below normal rainfall for southern and south central parishes. Minister Green says the ministry is ramping up drainage works and disaster preparedness efforts to improve the country's resilience to weather-related challenges. In the meantime, Jamaicans are being urged to conserve water, practice fire safety, and remain assured of the government's commitment to protecting national food security. The remaining buses for Jamaica's rural school bus system are expected to arrive on the island in short order. That update comes from the Minister of Transport, Darrell Vaz, who was on site at Kingston Wharves last week to oversee the arrival of the first shipment. The delivery included 25 of 110 buses being procured by the government to support the phased rollout of the rural school bus system, starting with the 2025-2026 academic year in September. Minister Vaz says an additional 36 buses are set to arrive in Jamaica this week.
110 school buses. Why 110? Because 10 of them are going to be held back as reserves. That anytime anything happens to any one bus, wherever it is, we will have buses located around Jamaica to be able to fill that void.
Minister of Education, Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, says the rural school bus system offers critical support to ensure positive learning outcomes for all students.
And in some of these schools, you hear about high truancy. That's children who are not at school. And one of the reasons they're not at school is because they cannot afford the transportation cost. Our administration believes that every single child matters, irrespective of where they come from.
Students will pay a flat fare of $50 per trip, and Finance Minister Favour Williams says the safe and affordable transportation of children to school is important to the country's development.
Education is the most important sector of the economy. That's what we're depending on to lift us further. And so we need our children to be in schools every day, every school day. And we know that having a proper rural school bus transportation system is going to enable our students to be in the classrooms.
Jamaica will be petitioning King Charles III to refer legal questions on slavery reparations to the Privy Council in what's described as a new phase in the country's push for redress. The announcement was made in Parliament recently by Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange. The petition asked the King to seek the Privy Council's advice on whether the forced transport and enslavement of Africans in Jamaica until 1838 were unlawful under common law and whether the UK is obligated to provide reparations for the ensuing consequences.
Jamaica intends such by placing these three questions before the Privy Council in accordance with Section 4 of the Judicial Committee Act of 1833, which gives the monarch discretionary powers to place before the Privy Council for advice any matter of constitutional importance that cannot be heard in local courts.
The matter is now with the Attorney General of Jamaica for filing on behalf of the Jamaican people. Community college students across Jamaica will, for the first time, benefit from dedicated scholarships provided by the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. The initiative is aimed at easing financial burdens while encouraging greater enrollment in high-demand programs. The move comes on the heels of anecdotal data from institutions suggesting a decline in community college enrollment. Speaking during a recent JS think tank, Executive Director of the Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica, Donna Powell-Wilson, said the scholarships were geared toward areas of national priority.
There are some particular programs, and these are the TVET, the STEM-related programs that we are pushing. So we have our IT-related programs. We have our criminal justice. We have our business administration, hospitality and tourism management.
And finally, persons seeking to improve, build or buy a house are being encouraged to take advantage of the suite of services at the upcoming National Housing Trust NHT Home It Expo in July. The expo will be held on July 5 at Emancipation Park in Kingston and July 11 at Harmony Beach Park in Montego Bay. Assistant General Manager for Advertising, Marketing and After Sales, Sabrina MacDonald Radcliffe, shared the details at a JS think tank. She indicated that booths and workshops will be tailored to all areas of home ownership, with support from partners in the financial, renewable energy and construction sectors, as well as key government agencies.
There'll be 3 workshop rounds, 11 to 12, 1 to 2, and 3 to 4. And in each workshop round, you'll have a home builder tent where our construction and development team will walk people through how to make the loan facilities that are existing work for them based on where they are in a practical way, Q&A. There'll also be happening concurrently a home buyers workshop, buying on the open market specifically. And in each of those time bands, running your home on renewable energy.
Persons will also be able to access architecture plans and eligibility status on properties.
Those who are not able to access an architect based on maybe their resources, NHE has free building plans and we have those on site. They'll be able to get their eligibility letters live on site as well at each of these expos.
And that's it for JS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
I wonder who that somebody be. No, sir. Let me look for my glasses. Oh, that somebody look like right, sir. It's Latte walk on. Me glad for see you, right? Although things never go on for you, America, me glad to see you there.
Yes.
Lift your head high.
Yes.
Stay out of trouble.
Yes.
And you can have a fresh start back home.
All right, Mr. P. Thanks, you hear?
Let's all work together for a fresh start back home.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
When people think of Jamaican exports, what often comes to mind are music, coffee, or bauxite. But Jamaica tech companies are innovating, expanding, and turning heads on the global stage. At Expo Jamaica 2025, several of these forward-thinking companies stepped into the spotlight. Let's take a closer look.
We do have businesses in other countries, and so because of that, being here to be a part of the Export Max conversation to let them know that Jamaica is ready and poised to be able to compete on a global scale.
The Export Max program is an initiative by JAMPRO, JBDC, and the JMEA to support Jamaican exporters and export-ready MSMEs.
We are the first and only locally owned company that has just achieved 3 prestigious distinctions through Microsoft. We won 3 designations, and so that's a big deal, and we're perhaps one of only few in the English-speaking Caribbean.
That kind of success isn't just personal. It puts Jamaica on the global tech map, and Resolve IT is not alone.
We're partnered with Jamaica Stock Exchange, we're partnered with Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. In both instances, we brought online trading to both markets and made it accessible to a wider audience. We have also partnered in the past with NHT, VM, and Sagicor to help them to improve their operations via the use of some order management systems to process trades and so forth.
From banking to housing, Jamaican IT firms are building digital infrastructure that supports the Caribbean economy.
Ultimately, you can't truly help the people if you don't understand the people. And what we do is centered around understanding people. So understanding their opinions, their feelings, their behaviors. And this helps the government at large to say, okay, if these are the people within our country, then this is how we can help them. That's where we bridge that gap.
This company uses data and behavioral science to help government better understand the people it serves, from opinions and feelings to habits and needs. Initiatives like Expo Jamaica provide a valuable platform for these companies to connect with global buyers. But make no mistake, these companies are growing because they're building tools that matter, right here at home and beyond.
Hurricanes can be dangerous, catastrophic events, but we can lessen the damage if we are prepared. Keep up to date with the latest information from reliable sources such as the Meteorological Service and ODPEM. The power will probably go, with the internet following, so a good old battery-operated radio is a must-have. Stock up on non-perishable food items and emergency items such as flashlights and extra batteries. Secure important documents. Have a pre-packed emergency bag with safety gear such as raincoats and water boots. Ensure windows are protected and roofing is secured. Have updated information on emergency shelters near you in case you need to evacuate during the storm. Preparation will lessen the devastation when dealing with a hurricane. Be prepared.
Land is one of the single most important assets in wealth creation. Efficiency in land use management for productivity is a key strategy of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining this fiscal year. Pay attention as we dig into the ministry's approach to helping our farmers achieve better productivity through optimal land use management.
Unused lands are getting a second life for food, livelihoods, and growth. The Ministry of Agriculture has partnered with the National Housing Trust (NHT) to unlock hundreds of acres across the island for farming.
Under that MOU, we have gotten land in Dundee, Trelawney, Parbuckle Wharf in Hanover, and Dundee is 300 acres, Hanover is 119 acres, Alligator Pond 30 acres, Unity in St. Mary 698 acres.
Unused government-owned land is also being handed over for agricultural use.
We have gone to the NLA and we have said where we see lands that are government-owned, that are being occupied by farmers, let us manage it. Under that project, we have gotten Harmony Hall in St. Anne, 1,600 acres, and we have already regularized 55 farmers who now have leases to work on that land. We have also gotten some land in Portland, New Pen in St. Mary, 850 acres. We have received about 3,000 acres under these programs. But we're also expanding our agro parks.
Jamaica is ramping up its agro-park network to drive production and job creation. The Parnassus Agro Park in Clarendon has opened, with leases already granted to youth, women, and long-time land users. The Litford Agro Park in St. Anne is to be a 670-acre climate-smart space designed for small and medium farmers.
This agro park will be served as a model for sustainable agribusiness, employing climate-smart practices, as well as medium and small farmers. One of the things that we have earmarked as a ministry is that we want to ensure that every parish has an agro park.
To inspire a new generation of farmers, the ministry has launched the Agro Park Youth Startup Program.
Youth lease rates for our new agro parks will be cut in half for the first 2 years of operation. Additionally, regular persons have to show 70% of their capital investment. For youth under this program, they will only be called upon to show 35% of the capital investment to be able to start. But it gets better. For the first year of operation, we will provide the youth under this program with free land preparation for up to 2 acres. And we will give them free seeds. We are securing the future of fisheries.
To drive production in fisheries, a 200-acre aquaculture park in Mitchelltown, Clarendon will soon become the Caribbean's aquaculture training center. The focus: tilapia, sea moss, and oysters.
We're going to be training the rest of the region right here in Jamaica in aquaculture.
From idle lands to empowered farmers, from sea to soil, Jamaica's agricultural revolution is in motion.
Jamaicans, practice proper disposal of garbage, and if items can be reused, recycle them. We all have a part to play in protecting our environment from pollution. We are building Jamaica.
I create crocheted toys, jewelry, and home decor. I do toys for all ages, from newborns to even adults. I do collector's items, which can be personalized or customized for retail and wholesale purposes. Moni's Voice started over 5 years ago. I was in a very dark place mentally. I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship. I was a new single mom, no job, nowhere to live. I was with family, and I needed something to get me out of that mental space. And so I decided to teach myself to crochet so I could make something for my daughter, something just to get me out of that depressive state. And I ended up making a baby hat, a beanie. I did a crochet beanie. It took me a couple of days to get one that could actually be worn.
And when it was finished, she wore it to daycare, and the aunties and the other moms there loved it. And when I told them the story behind it, they started sharing their domestic violence experience. And when I shared it online, other people started sharing their experience with me. People started asking me to make things. I was brand new to crocheting. I went on YouTube and taught myself to make basically everything you see here. Taught myself to read crocheting patterns, and even taught myself to design new patterns. From then, the business has grown all on its own, basically, and I have been growing with it. Not only has my crocheting skills been growing, but my domestic advocacy and the mission behind Moni's Voice has been growing to the point where we're looking to collaborate with different local partners and communities to help other survivors and victims. So the name behind Moni's Voice, my middle name, a part of my middle name is Moni. That is what my abuser used to call me. It was his pet name for me. And my daughter ended up getting, a part of her name is also Moni. So me naming the business Moni's Voice, it's my way of taking a negative and turning it into a positive. So that negative connotation that I had of the name Moni, it's me using it to encourage someone else to say, hey, this has been my story. This is how I'm using it to raise my voice, to help you to raise your voice so we can end the stigma.
From manual to digital, the process of creating maps and providing services such as surveying and land evaluation is in the modern era. Keep watching to learn how the National Land Agency is innovating with up-to-date technology for land information and estate management.
The National Land Agency NLA is on a mission to maintain a reliable land information infrastructure that facilitates proper administration and sustainable development. The NLA is executing that mission with an eye on delivering excellent service that takes advantage of cutting-edge technology. Several drones owned and operated by the NLA are part of the technological transformation behind the agency's enhanced delivery of service to clients. In 2018, when the entity commenced acquisition of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs or drones, it was just for its photogrammetry activities to aid in mapping and surveying.
The approach we're using prior to 2019, the technology behind it was becoming obsolete, and we're having challenges finding parts for the equipment that we were using because it was primarily mechanical at the time. And having done the research, realized that what we wanted to do or what we were doing could have been done utilizing drones. The other side of the equation was the fact that we needed to be more efficient and also find ways of being cost effective in doing what we were doing. We managed to get a core set of officers trained and implemented what we call train the trainer. So having trained a core set, we then utilize that same set of officers to train others within the unit. I think it's one of the best moves we would have made on the side of the agency, because in terms of the transformation that it has brought about.
Since then, the NLA has expanded the use of drone technology beyond mapping and surveying to other areas of its operations, such as land valuation and estate management.
For mapping, we need to capture imagery of areas all across the island for various purposes. So, if we need imagery to capture how the slope of a particular property is, then we capture the imagery for that. Or we'll capture the imagery for a town, and we will use that to update our maps in-house. Cadastral surveys, they want to be able to find boundaries, precise boundaries, and the drones can actually assist in that regard.
Drones make it possible for the National Land Agency to capture aerial images in areas with rugged and challenging terrain, which otherwise would have been difficult and costly to execute.
We do spend less time now to get the same work done, and we get that work done at higher quality and with greater precision. And so, for example, for valuation, we've done properties that are over 1,000 acres, and before a valuator would actually take more than 5 days to actually, peruse the property to find out what is there, and they wouldn't really get everything that's on ground. They would just get the best. They'll do the best that they can. But now we can take half a day to do that with the drones, and we have imagery of everything. And so what you find as well, in addition to the efficiency, the capital outlay, the money that we spend is it's much more efficient now as well.
Aerial images captured with the drones are processed using other technology to create the various maps and three-dimensional products.
These data are then returned to us in the photogrammetric section that we use different technology, mainly drone to map, to stitch these these digital files together in order to create what we call an orthophoto. From this orthophoto, we can extract whatever information we need, mainly like roads, building, drain, and a contour to create what we call either digital or paper-based map. And what we find with the drone images, we can have accuracy up to 5 centimeters. This we couldn't achieve before. Generally, the accuracy from the aerial photos we had before was like 5 meters, plus or minus 5 meters. Now we are down to 5 centimeters. So it greatly helps us in producing highly accurate map for the agency and the country at large.
As it relates to creation of cadastral maps, we are exploring the extent to which that can actually be done.
And so one of the products that we're creating, and this is kind of a futuristic product that we're experimenting with, is a 3D cadaster where we now give a real-life look to what the data is out there.
The future is technology, and the National Land Agency is embracing this future as it continues to deliver improved services to support Jamaica's sustainable development and economic growth.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please, join us again tomorrow on this station for more news, features, and information you can use to live, work, raise families, do business, and of course, retire in paradise. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Till next time, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.